Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to the continuation of our Railway Empire Back to Basics series. We're going to take a look at Mission 5 this time, and I will show you yet another new technique, a new strategy to use. But first, I want to show you something. I get questions about this a fair amount, so I want to go ahead and document it here. If we go to Options, Gameplay, see this one right here called Contour Lines? Make sure that's set on. By default, it'll come in as off. You want to turn that on, and I'll show you what that means when we get into the campaign mission. So we're on Chapter 5. This is called Sierra Nevada. It's about the construction of the Transcontinental Railway, and from the point of view of the Central Pacific Railroad, in other words, the group that started from the west under Collis P. Huntington versus the group that started from the east under Thomas Durant. So, and as many of you know, I grew up right down here around Huntington, West Virginia, and sure enough, Huntington, West Virginia is named after Collis P. Huntington. So let's get in here. We're going to get $3 million starting capital, fair amount, in Sacramento with two competitors, and let's see what's going on. As usual, our only choice is the industrialist, so of course we'll use him. We'll skip the cutscene, although it's a good one. And
this is the plan.
We'll stop this. He's going to talk for a bit, so I'm going to let him talk, and then I'll be back when he's done.
Rock Springs in the east. Our track meets north of Salt Lake City, and so the transcontinental connection is complete. As simple as that. But I'm still stuck here in Washington. The rights to laying tracks in Utah territory are still pending, and I have to hold some talks. And as for Collis Potter Huntington, I have a lot of persuading to do with my wallet. So you will start by laying the foundation of the Central Pacific Railroad. The Union Pacific Railroad is our major competitor. If they reach the meeting point before us, Thomas Durant will just continue laying his tracks in our direction. This will mean that they will receive all the land rights and not us. Every single mile will be a disaster for us. In addition to that, I'm having a little supply problem as far as money is concerned. So I can't transfer quite as much to you as would be necessary for a good start. So you'll have to get money quickly. First, you should expand the rail network in the West, as there is a great demand for transport facilities there. I have noted down some tasks for you in that regard. Complete them quickly, and we'll have enough capital to push on to the meeting point once the land rights have been sorted.
All right, so Collis is through talking. You notice he talked about how he and Durant were competing for land rights, and the more track either one of them lays, the more land rights they get. Well, if you really want to know about that and you want to see a really, I think, an outstanding television show, television series, you want to check out Hell on Wheels. Really, really good. All about this. In fact, the main character is with Thomas Durant for a while and plays a key role in the Eastern Railroad Company. And then later on in the series, he moves over to the West and helps out Collis P. Huntington. So you get to see kind of the building of the Transcontinental Railroad from both perspectives through the eyes of the hero of the story. So anyway, enough of that. So what we're going to do here, well, I said I'd show you contour lines. So see how these lines, these are the contour lines, these little green lines. Notice we're in track construction. If I go out of track construction, they go away. So I'll go back, and if you've never used contour lines before, they're really helpful. What they do is, if they're spread apart, that means it's relatively flat land. Anything where they're close together, that means you've got really steep inclines. And you can see that, whoops, you can see that if I go out of track construction. See, we've got mountains, very, very steep, got a valley, not so steep. So they can be very useful to help us with laying out our track. And we've had very simple track layout so far in these missions because the land has been really easy to deal with. This land is tough. There are a lot of mountains, look at all that slope. Even off the mountain, very much sloping land and heavy inclinations that we're going to have to deal with. And so we'll get into a little bit of the more advanced track laying techniques in this video. So let's see what we have to do. 4 cities, 8 rural, 600, that's basically play the game. Grow Sacramento, bunch of track, never a problem. 50 passengers, San Francisco to Promontory Point without stopping, direct line. That's kind of the end point of this. And an optional task, which we will certainly do, 50,000 San Francisco, build a university in San Francisco, which means it really has to get to 60,000 for us to build a university, and express connection San Francisco and LA. So now, given all that, now that we know that, we can think about our research strategy once we have a strategy, okay? So our strategy is going to be, here's what I think I want to do. I want to show you something different. So we're going to do a 3-city cluster. We're going to do San Francisco, Sacramento, and Redding. We're going to build a 3-city cluster, and I'll define what that means and how we're going to approach it as we do it, so we don't have to talk about it all day and then turn around and do what I just talked about. And we're going to, of course, get that express line. So I want to talk about express lines for a moment. Express lines are probably the least documented or most poorly documented facet of the game. I've played the game a lot. I consider myself at least a mediocre player, and I really can't say that I totally understand express trains, even to this day. But here's what I can share with you. You want a direct line, or as direct as you can get, between the 2 cities where you're trying to get an express line. You must run the fastest train available. Your train, and that counts the trains of your opponents, must be the fastest train out there. And they run one full tour to set a time, and then if they beat that time, they become an express line on that line. You can have lines that are passenger mail. I keep going like this because there's going to be a passenger mail line here between San Francisco and LA. Or you can have a city-to-city automatic line. It can become an express line. Just about any line can become an express line if it's the fastest train on that particular line. We're going to focus on this passenger mail one down here. And that's really about all I can share with you. As I said, it's not the most well-documented feature in the game. So we want to establish that. Now, we know we're going to do that. I think we're also going to do something a little different for me. Again, we're going to go for some passenger revenue. So we're going to want to have a really good passenger train right off the bat. And this is another one of those where they spot us some research, which is unusual. Typically, you start with 0 and you gain 40 a month automatically. And then as you get enough, you can spend 100, 200, or 300 at a time to go out and get research. So here we go. We're going to go out here to our research, and we're going to try to get out here to the Rensselaer, which is a good express train. Eventually, what we really want to get to is right here to the Rogers, but we don't have enough points to get out there just yet. But the first thing, I know we're going to build some businesses. We're going to go over here before I forget it and take that creative accounting. Then we're going to come back to this side. Oh, shoot, stop. We just got an analyst. All right. All right, we're going to do something evil. I want to show you something really cool, but really evil. Okay, take note of how much money we have, $3 million. We're going to go out. We want all the money we can get. We're going to go out and open 2 bonds, biggest bonds we can get. Now we have $3.8 million. Now we're going to go out to the company screen here. And we're going to look at one of our competitors, our biggest one here. Now we can buy her 100%. I don't want to buy 100%. I'm going to buy 99% of Beatrix for $3.12 million. There, just bought her for a little bit, actually a little more than that. All right. So we probably didn't need all those bonds because we had so much to start with. But going to go out here to the analyst. I was afraid if I bought her all, it might mess this up. So we're going to go to the analyst, and we're going to stick her on Beatrix and say increase the share price. And we're going to let this run for just a couple of seconds. And then we're going to go over here to the company screen. and go to Beatrix, see how she's the most valuable now? We're going to go here and we're going to sell all of our stock for $4.2 million. So now we have almost $5 million to work with. Now we had 3. Let's just see how much, if we made any money there. We had 3. We've got bonds for 8, so 3.8. So you can see we made over $1 million in that transaction. Okay, so now we have $5 million to play with instead of 3. So that's pretty good. Now we are in debt, but we don't care. Debt is your friend. And normally I wouldn't open the debt until I actually was broke, but in that case I wanted all the money. I wanted to make sure I could get as much value out as possible. Now the analysts could only work on one, so we couldn't split it between Doc and Beatrix and spend all our money, but this worked out great. So we made there's $1 million we made, and we haven't even started playing yet. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to put in a train station here, I think. Yes, we're going to put a train station here, put it right out here on the edge, like so. Okay, train station in San Francisco. This one I'm actually going to blow up and put it back down. Just I want to position it a little differently. Trains, and it is going to be a train station though. Let's put it over here on the edge and give ourselves plenty of room to work. Now we need to connect those two, so we're going to. Let me think. Train station, train. Yeah. We'll start with this. Okay. Now, here we go. Here's our first thing about sort of the, quote, advanced, unquote, track lane. Notice we dragged that out, and sure enough, we got a big old bridge and a tunnel and $250,000 worth of cost for a short track. But we're not going to do that, of course. So we're going to click here, drag this over this way, take out that bridge, drag it on up like this. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. That's really good. All right, so now we've got 1% grade and a 5% grade going up this hill. Hard to do much better than that. So now it's only $86,000. Gets the same job done by just putting some curves in and paying attention to these contour lines, getting off that hill, and moving it up where we had a much shorter bridge. We've got a pretty good line here. Now we can go like this. And whoops, got a pretty good line that's connected to the wrong. the ends mismatched. So close, but no cigar. All right, let's fix that. Make sure I got the right one. I still got it wrong. Okay, let's try that. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay. Go up here and we'll double track it. We'll use kind of the traditional hookups with both platforms. We'll put in our X, make sure we have a junction at both ends. So we'll put in our X like so. Go up to the other end, put our X in up here to have a junction. Now we've laid track, we have a junction, we can put in our signals. And as a way of review, Control, I'm holding down Control, Shift, hovering over it, and I'm using the middle mouse button to switch the direction. I want it to drive on the right. I'm going to go over here, Control, Shift, middle mouse button to flip it back the other way. There we go. Now we've got a two-way track. Going to put in a supply tower about here, and we're going to run passenger line. And we're going to stop, and we're going to say, okay, we need to do our research. So the first thing we want actually is standardized components. We want the trains to be as cheap as possible. We're going to get 30% discount on them. Then we want to target the Rensselaer. So let's do express trains. Don't be confused by it. Let's get the Rensselaer. And we can't do this yet. We need more research down here. Did we do our one? Yeah, we got that one. Okay. I must have stopped in the middle. That's typical, got distracted. And let's run the Tyson 10-wheeler as our freight train. Okay, So now we can get cheaper trains, and we're going to set up a line, passenger mail only, between track 1 and track 1. And we're going to add a Rensselaer, and we're going to take advantage of these cars and have the dining car and the mail car, which each give us a 20% increase in the price, in the fees we get for passengers and mail, respectively. 2, 3, 4. We'll run 4 trains back and forth between those two, which should put us at what? What kind of utilization? 55, that's all? We could even run more. All right, so now we're going to go up to Reading and get a train station in Reading. Oh, let's see. Let's put it, let's turn it the same way. Yeah, okay. And we'll run back like this, back to Sacramento. Now we see we've got this big bridge and $250,000. But if we just move like this a little bit, it gets rid of the bridge. Now it's even worse because we put in a tunnel, but that's okay. Now we'll take this tunnel. Now watch, see our contour lines? I'm going to first knock down this bridge like this, kind of anchor it down here maybe. Now because we're going up those contour lines, we got a high grade. But if we just move back down here a little bit, in fact I can take that out, straighten it out like this. Now we're down to 105,000, and notice we've got a line that has 1, 2, 3, and 3% slope. That's really good. Can we make it a little better? Yeah, we can make it 2 here. We could possibly drop that down, but no need. That's a really nice line. It's not overly expensive, and all we had to do is just put a little curve into it and not fight these contour lines, go with them, and that gives us a beautiful, nice line. And do I have it in the right ones? I do. I have them matched up. The little platforms are matched, so we'll come back here, double track it. We'll put in our junction at each end. Whoops. Like so, and like so. Now we can put in our signals. Control Shift left click, spin it around with the mouse wheel, and go. We can put a supply tower in the middle of this, maybe right there would be good. And we'll build another passenger and mail line, this time from Sacramento, track 2 to Reading, track 2. And we'll go Rensselaer, rail cars, dining, and mail. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's go down here to Los Angeles. Put in a small train station because we're not going to be doing anything else down here for a while. Maybe nothing else, period. If we look at our task list, we'll put in a small train station in Los Angeles, and we're going to click here, right click, go all the way up here to San Francisco, and we're going to go in the back end of this. And that's our inside turn, and as long as we can make that turn, we're good. Now we're just going to adjust this line out through here. Let's see. Let's see. We'll just get it generally laid out, and then we'll go back and tweak it. Now, I've built this line so many times, I know that it works out better if we run it underneath this cotton like that, and we'll just keep making points and dragging it, keep it off the water. Of course, we don't want bridges over the ocean, that's for sure. Let's see, go like that. All right, so let's just run this back and see. The slopes are good. I'm looking for any high slopes like right here, or any bridges or tunnels. So we can knock this down I'm holding shift, hovering over the little cone, and just using the mouse wheel to move it down. I'll go down till I almost get a tunnel, but not quite. And see, you can see what nice small slope we have. So beautiful line so far. Now it's getting a little high right here. We've got a little bridge. Let's see what happens if we knock that down. See how it's straightened everything out. Now we've got 3 degrees and 3 degrees. Beautiful. Now right up here and right here are 2 weak points. Let's see. Yeah, if we drive this down, we really took care of that. It's all zeros now. Beautiful. Now, what can we do anything about this? 8, 6. All right, we can take it down to 6. Not quite get a tunnel. We could potentially curve it a little more with the contour lines, but I kind of like what it is. I like what it looks like. It looks nice to me. And beautiful, very, very, very flat relatively. There's one kind of steep spot, but it's not even bad. So we'll take that.
Successfully connected many cities to the network. Well done.
That did one of our tasks, which is to connect 4 cities. And we'll go down here and we will double track it back to LA. And now we can put in our signals. There we go. And that's a long line. Let's put 3 towers in. Let's put one kind of up here on the LA end. One more or less in the middle, right in here somewhere maybe. That'll do. And one down here on this end near San Francisco. Okay. So now what we can do is fire up another passenger mail from here, track 2, to here, and of course it could only be track 1. And again, we want the Rensselaer, and we want dining car and mail car. 1, 2, 3. And because that's so long, we're going to go and do one back the other way. So from track 1, go to track 2, passenger and mail, add a Rensselaer, put on our cars, 1, 2, 3. These says are actually running empty. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So I tell you what, I'm liking this so much, and we got enough money thanks to our stock venture. We're going to go ahead and put maintenance on these guys from the get-go. I won't have to watch it. It's all beautiful. It's all good. Now, we've still got $3 million. Now we've got all these passenger mail lines running, and we're back to the amount of money we started with. Pretty good. So what do we want to do now? What I want to do again is make a 3-city cluster. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're going to have direct lines. Are we going to do that? What are we going to do? Yes, we are. All right. We want to. We've got meat in 2 places. We don't have any beer, so we absolutely want beer in Reading. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is expand this station so I can have its footprint. Then I'm going to go in here, go to Industries, get a brewery, and we're going to put it right over here outside of this. And that's why I expanded it first, because I wanted to see where we could we put this and not prevent us from expanding the station. Okay? And what we're going to want to do is run a line like this that goes like so. We're going to expand this station. And you could say, well, why didn't I just put in a large station to start with? 1, expanding it, it's the same net cost. And 2, I want to make sure I got, how far is my money going to go? Now, in this case, we got plenty of money. We're going to double track this. And what this is going to be is a freight line. It's not going to get a ton of traffic, actually. Let's see. Okay, put in our X's. We can put in our signals, and remember we'll have to do it on both sides of the supply towers. And then we can go, we can go ahead now. We've got plenty of money. We can go ahead and do this and build our track like this. Now, unfortunately, this one crosses a bridge. So the bridges are, you can't build a 3-wide bridge, unfortunately. So all we can do is come as close as we can get to it and do it sort of like that. And that's just going to give us sort of an ugly slope right here. There's just, unfortunately, not much we can do about that. Okay. And now we can double track this back and put our Okay, now we're just missing one piece of track and we're ready to actually run this thing, this part of it. What I want to do, we need signals here on both sides of the supply tower. Now, one thing I love about this, I've got my nice little superhighway of track. Some of you will know what I mean, but I love that superhighway of track. And so we're going to, I'm not sure why that one didn't come out even with the rest of it. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's interesting. Okay, so probably has to do, yeah, it has to do with coming off this bridge here, I guess. So what we want to do now is we'll build a little bypass because we're going, what this other line is for, the second line, is to have a freight line that can take manufactured goods and deliver them without interfering with our passenger line. So we're going to go out here and we're going to say, okay, we want to come off of your signal here, and then we want to just bypass the city and come up here and merge. Maybe right there would be a good spot. That looks good. And then we want to come out here and anchor to the line and click right there, and that gives us a bypass. There we go. So that's beautiful, beautiful. And it's going to be even more of a superhighway in a little bit. So what we want to do, and we're not even going to use that track yet. I built that to have it ready. Okay, in Reading, we want to go in. We did that already. I'm sorry. Good. We built that brewery. Good for us. All right. So let's set up. Let's set up our first warehouse. So we're going to set up a warehouse. It's going to be. We're going to use signaling control. Yeah, why not? Okay. We're going to put a warehouse right up here, like so. Then we're going to go to Sacramento and put a warehouse. This can be touchy. That topography is a little vicious here. Can we make that work? Yeah, we can. Okay. And then one more touchy one down here in San Francisco. Yeah, that works. Okay. So we've got 3 big warehouses connected to our 3 cities. I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to rename this one to corn and sugar. I'm going to call this one the COSU warehouse. You'll see why in a minute. This one is going to be renamed the veggie milk warehouse. And this one is going to be renamed the grain logs warehouse. Okay. Now, I think we'll start. And there's one thing I got to deal with here. One clumsiness left, and that's this guy right here. I want him to go in here. And I think we're just going to give him a little, if it'll fit. It won't. Well, it will like that. Yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is probably this topography here. This angle is really kind of tough for this, isn't it? What if we took this warehouse and turned it, more like that? I think that would buy us a few things. Let's do that. Let's take that one down. Let's put it back in. It's too bad they don't have a terminal warehouse with signaling control. I'd like to not have those signals on that other end. But let's put this thing over here like this. I think that's better. And then the question, well, maybe it's better. That may be horrible. Let's take this out. Let's put small train station. Oh, here's what if we have to. This part of it's a bit of a mess, but it's tough. We're going to put a small train station here, and we're going to run a line. Now, I don't want to touch any of these lines we have for our passenger mail lines. Oh, that's that's fine. That may look weird, but that is fine. In fact, it's just fine, just like it is. And we will go up here like this, and click. And give this one repairs and this one repairs. Maintenance. All right, let's start out. Let's run our line here. Oh, and this is what I want. One of the things I want to discuss. I've been asked, how do you tell how many trains to run? Now, first of all, I've done optimization studies on city to city. Now, I want to clarify something because of a comment someone else wrote. The city to city line optimizations on the idea of what do I need to start a scenario. It's not meant to optimize for the entire scenario, obviously, because the cities grow, demand changes over time. But what do I need to start to get the fastest return on my investment? And that's why you see me run 4 trains on most of these lines. Occasionally I'll run 6, sometimes 8. It just depends. This is a 6 because it's a long line. These shorter lines will run 4, and it seems to work beautifully. So we need to rename this one again. This one needs to become the corn sugar warehouse. Okay. Now, what do we want to do here? Pause. Okay, I think what I'm first going to do is feed two of my feed my warehouses, and this one, this whole thing down here is muy clumsy. But I just wonder if a line, if track would fit under this, like that, go up there, and then come out here. And the answer is, why, yes, it would. Beautiful. That solves some problems right there. Okay. Small train station. I'd like to pick up that that supply tower. And that actually works. Okay. Go like so. Go like so. Set signals. Set signals in the other direction. Go on the other side of our supply tower and put signals in there. Gorgeous. Now, in this warehouse, we're going to take grain, corn, logs, sugar, milk, and veggies. And for the corn and sugar, we're going to take extras. The rest of them we'll set at 20 max. And I do want the caboose. And you really want to win all these bids because they just speed up your research. It's one less thing for you to have to research. We're working our way to this. We're going to do the power. If I can click it. And now that opens this one up. Next time we have 100 points. And I want to click through this and look at all of them, even though I'm not paying attention, to clear that number up there. Now we've got somebody here, an engineer. We'll just put him on a train. Nothing else. Okay, we're caught up. All right. So now what do we want to do? We want to start bringing sugar and corn into this warehouse. So we're going to set up a line from here, run full, go to that warehouse. One, and we don't need a lot of trains. We'll run a couple of trains in there. Oh, and I started to talk, I know what it was. I started to talk about, forgive me, got distracted. I was looking at all this and thinking, how am I going to make all this work? We have, I wanted to say, how do we know how many cattle to run into that city, right? So we just look at the demand for the city, and it's 3.6. Let's round that to 4. So it needs 4 every 7 days, right? 4 every 7 days. So we go up here and we say, okay, run this full, go down here to the only place you can go, and we want you to
As I mentioned, I'll be stuck in Washington
we'll
over
put
the
a
coming
train
weeks,
on it, and we're
won't
going
be
to run
able
a
to help you for
refrigerator
that
car
time.
because it actually gives
A
us more
steam
money.
engine needs oil
Now
as
we can look
lubricant.
and see it. It's going to
Washington
take
needs
22
dollar
days to do a
bills.
round trip. So it can 7 in there every 22 days. We need 4 every 7 days. So 7 times 3 is 21. That would be 12. So this is not enough. We need one more train so that we've got more coming in than we need. Do you follow that? And we've got a little extra, and that's good because that'll give us something to grow on. So we're going to copy that train, and now we know if we run two cattle trains into San Francisco, that we should keep up with the cattle demand here in San Francisco and be able to keep creating meat. Okay, so we've got sugar going into our warehouse. We should have. I thought I did that, didn't I? And why are they running empty? Oh, no, I don't know why they are. How did I set those up? Walker Farm, run full. I could have sworn, I'm not sure why those were running empty. Now they're filling up. I'm not sure what happened there. I have to go back and review the tape. So now we go over here to our sugar, and we run a line and connect it into this line we've already built. So we'll go down here and merge. Oh man. I hate to do this, but I'm going to merge right in front of that.
Hats off! Your rail network has now reached a total length that will make our competitors sit up and take notice.
Okay. Okay, that's sugar. Let's run a couple of trains of sugar into that warehouse. And we'll give it refrigerator car because it, oh no, I take that back. Going into warehouse, for whatever reason, you don't get that bonus. So I'm going to take that car off. And I will copy that. We'll run 2 trains. Okay. So now, let's just keep building out. So this one's, I call this one veggie milk. Why did I call it veggie milk? Well, you're about to see. We're going to run a line from here up to that veggie milk warehouse. And that's pretty good. And double track it like so. And we'll put in our signals like so. And we're going to put a supply tower, I think, up here at the end. Yes, we are. All right. So this warehouse is going to hold the same things. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only in this one, it's going to get extra milk and extra veggies. Keep everything else at 20. Okay. And we're going to run veggies into it. Oh, I really want to pick up that. Shoot. Let me start this over. Go back here. I really want to pick up that supply tower. So I'd really like to hook in maybe right here. On the track, like, something like that. Okay. And said that inclination's making it harder for us to place the station. That, like that will probably do. In like so. Okay. Set our signals like so. Then we'll look at this and say, yeah, this one's a little tight right there. Looking pretty good at the intersection. Come on back off with our Jan Jansen signals. And we'll run a couple of trains of veggies into this warehouse. 1, 2. We're broke. Okay, that's fine. There we go, we're unbroke. All right, so now we've got corn and sugar coming into our system. We've got veggies. We're going to do milk next. Are we going to do milk next? Yeah, we are. We'll just keep methodically plotting our way over here. So we want to run milk into this warehouse. And let's wait and let's gather up some funds. And let's get the Rogers American, hooray! And let's go out here to our engine shed. And if we wanted to replace all of our passenger and mail lines, it would cost us $500,000 to make them Rogers Americans, which would be a lovely thing to do. It's a faster, better. Look at the passenger rating, 120. It's fast. Beautiful, beautiful. But got to prioritize things. We really want it on this line for sure. I really want it on all of them. 500,000. What are we? Where's our finances here? I want to keep doing this too. I want to get this done first. I want to build this out. So we're going to just we're just going to save up some money, and after we get about $250,000, we'll put the milk going into this warehouse. We can go ahead and build our station like so, and go up here like so, across, and merge in with this line maybe right there. Minimize that bridge. And we're going to rather abruptly stop right there, and we'll come back in the next episode and finish off these warehouse setups, and we'll talk through the whole three-city cluster, how that theory works, how it's all going to come together, and we'll continue with the mission. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.